What is going on, guys? Thanks for tuning in. So obviously by the title of the video, you know what you're here for. Today I'm going to go over a little bit on what it's like to have a second gen Dodge and if they're any good. Let's get into it. This here is my 2000 Dodge Ram 2500 quad cab. I think it's what they call it. It's got the opening doors. Sport model. It doesn't have any badging on the sides, nothing like that. All it's got is the Dodge and the 4x4 in the back, and then it's just a dealership sticker, which I never took off. So, like I said, this is a 2500, and this truck specifically has the 5.9 gas V8, not the diesel, not the Cummins. So if that's what you're here for, well, I'm sorry. I know there's a lot of videos in these second gen Dodges on YouTube with the Cummins. Honestly, overall the trucks are very similar. The engine is obviously the main difference. So this is going to be kind of a generic second gen Dodges just in general, plus also what it's like to have the 5.9 liter V8 gas motor. You can also get the V10, which I'll go a little on about that, but that's what I got. So let me show you. So this is what it looks like when it has a 5.9 Magnum motor. This motor it's kind of old school. It's got like a distributor style ignition system. It's not like individual coils, nothing like that. Spark plugs, the wires running all over the place. It's kind of an old school design, which, you know, it's been around for a lot of years. Now, since I have the hood open, we'll kind of go over the motor. It's got a few issues that you could run into. So those issues I immediately ran into when I bought this truck. It's got 112,000 miles, and Dodge thought it was a great idea to put in a two-piece intake manifold. Great idea. And with that two-piece manifold, you have the gaskets, and what usually happens, a common failure, like happened to me less than 24 hours after I bought this truck, is gaskets, no longer seal. Then you start getting misfires. It can get worse. Oil can get places not supposed to be. Luckily, that didn't happen to me. But the truck becomes pretty undrivable when it starts. So, I mean, you'll know. As for early signs, there's not. But other than that, the 5.9 gas V8, not the 5.9 Cummins, is actually a really good motor. It gets decent fuel mileage for 2000 V8 gas lunker motor. Like I just took a highway road trip doing like 70 miles per hour the whole way. I was averaging like 16 or 17. So it does pretty good. I mean, other than that, I don't have a whole lot more to say. I know most of you guys aren't here to see about a gas motor. Who cares? You want to see a second gen Dodge. So let's get into the truck itself. So if you're watching this video, you probably know a little bit about these trucks. So my truck here, it is the sport package, which usually you would have a little emblem right here that said sport. Previous owner took it off. Don't know what happened to it. Honestly, don't care. I think it looks better with that. So what you get with the sport package is the grill, paint match grill, which comes down a little further. Really popular grill when you do the 4th gen bumpers. This is the sport bumper here, also paint matched. Come down the back. You also get a paint matched rear bumper and paint matched taillights. So that's about it. That comes with the sport package. The interior is not really any different. The performance isn't really different. It's an appearance package, as you probably all know. So there's a couple things to look out when you're looking for a second gen Dodge Ram. One, it's an old truck. This truck is 21 years old. So with age becomes problems. Not all bad problems, but problems. I got lucky here. This truck's actually really clean underneath. The paint, I'm not, a common problem, let's start with the paint. Common problem is paint peeling. Clear coat, not paint, just a clear coat. Clear coat they use on these trucks, they don't survive. You get them in the sun for too long, they just don't do that great. I got lucky. This truck Doesn't have any clear coat peeling anywhere. Usually you see it on the hoods and the roof because that gets the most direct sunlight all the time. I got lucky. So that's one thing you're gonna run into. Sticking with the body, another thing you're gonna run into is some rust. So underneath here, you always wanna make sure your strut towers are intact. Just take a peek underneath the frame or take a peek underneath the truck. Look at the frame. Down here, rocker panels, behind the cab. Now, one thing I did miss when I bought this truck, sorry. Come on, give me the keys. So one thing I did miss when I bought this truck is the bottom of the doors. So as you can see behind this rubber seal, see if I can get it, show you. Sorry about that, my phone was like freaking out. Anyway, as you can see underneath the seals, here it goes again. Weird. Let's try this again. Underneath the seals on the doors, front and back, you'll want to make sure you don't have rust underneath there because that can easily spread up into the doors. I didn't do that. I was too distracted by the rest of the truck. Now, those are the problems you're gonna run into. Obviously, with an old truck, you're gonna have dents and dings and scratches. You can't prevent it. On the rust, as you can see on my rear bumper here. Oops, see, this is what I mean. This is stock, it's never been repainted, and it's well rusting out a little bit. But other than that, this truck got pretty lucky. So that's kind of what to look out for, your typical rust spots, rear fender wells as well. Now let's take a look at the inside. So the interior on these trucks, honestly, for the most part, it's all about the previous owner. I got lucky. As you can see, got a little bit of, typical wear from sliding in and out, no tears, your typical nice green, purple, yellow, whatever colors are in there. In the gray cloth seats from the 90s, good center console. Now, everybody here knows about the dashes. I don't know what it was about trucks from that generation. They couldn't figure out the plastics at all. As you can see from my nice dash cover, very nice. 20 bucks, Amazon, highly recommend. Don't hit your dash like that though, you'll probably break it more. My dash is absolutely destroyed underneath there. And unfortunately, they can be replaced. I can't remember which, you can look up replacement dashes. One of the main truck vendors online, they have, I think it's LMC, I'm not sure. They have the replacement kits, including these crack as well. But it's kind of a sucker to replace. Like, they made it a lot of work. And even when you break almost everything out of there and there's nothing to interfere, it's still a lot of work. There are YouTube videos on it. I'm not gonna make one because I'm not gonna replace a dash. I don't wanna deal with it, but they're there. So that's honestly, don't let that be the deciding factor of whether or not you get a second gen, because 99% of them, the dashes are just horrible. Other than that, my interior here, it's pretty clean. With the Sport Edition, I guess there is some changes. It's not necessarily with the Sport, but I have the reader up here, fuel mileage, temperature, outside temperature, my little garage door, sunglasses. Also, I have the Infinity stereo, which was probably great back in 2000 when this truck came out. But now, 21 years later, my tweeter speaker works and my rear door speaker works. That speaker doesn't work. That speaker doesn't work. That one, nope. Yeah, I don't even have to tell you. Yeah, it doesn't work either. So, and these trucks came with a amplifier built in up underneath the dash. When you go to replace the speakers, you're gonna have to bypass the amplifier, most likely. That's what I've heard so far, because it doesn't like to work with anything except Infinity speakers. And that includes getting a new deck. So obviously, you know, you got your nice, I'm literally spacing what this is called. No, you got CD player, cassette, there it is. I swear I'm not that young. Cassette player, speaker tuner, you know, pretty good stuff for 2000, but nowadays and age, you know, replacing it, you'd have to bypass everything. You can get a lot better stuff, so most people would do it anyway. Another thing my truck came with from the factory, not a lot came with, is this nice storage compartment. You can buy these aftermarket, so, and you can get them, but mine came factory. Speaking of factory, oh, here it goes, freaking out again. Hold on. I'm sorry about my camera freaking out, guys. I think it's because of the heat. I live in Idaho, and right now, don't laugh at me if you're from warmer places. It's warm here. It's only June, middle of June, and we've been hitting 3 digits quite often. They got up to like 97 today, which is pretty warm, and my phone is not a fan. I'm not a fan. My truck. Let's touch into that real quick. So getting into the heat, my video cut out there. I'm filming with an iPhone. So do what you got. This truck here, the motor in this truck runs astonishingly cool. What I mean by that is I've never, even in this heat, even in the days it's 105, air conditioning blows cold, and I never, ever have seen it go above like 180 coolant temp, which to me, for all the vehicles I've ever been in and messed around with, that's amazing. Like, kudos to Dodge. I don't know if it's just this truck, but that's amazing. Like, I've had a lot of vehicles overheat. I've had way too many vehicles in my life. I've had a lot of them overheat, run way hot. I have a Beamer that runs 250, like normal. And that seems weird to me because I'm a classic car guy. But this truck here, it runs cool, and I enjoy that because my air conditioning also works astonishingly well. Yeah, that's what to look for interior wise. The seats, that would be a selling point, but I wouldn't let the dash be a selling point, honestly. And while we're standing here, the aftermarket, these trucks are super popular, especially here in Idaho. The reason I bought a gas truck and not a diesel is because the diesel market for these trucks, let's say this truck here, let's say this truck here, I were to try to pick up this condition, this sport trim and everything with the Cummins, I would probably be paying in Idaho $25,000 to $30,000, which is crazy to me. This is a 21-year-old truck. If you guys haven't seen, I also had a Ford 6.0 Power Stroke, which I picked up for like $15,000 with low miles. If you haven't seen that video, go check it out. It's in my page. But the fact that this is like 6 years older, and if it had the diesel, it'd be almost a $30,000 truck. That's crazy. I mean, don't get me wrong. The Cummins is a great motor. If you're still here and you're still looking at a Cummins, they're great motors. Just make sure they're taken care of. Good to go. I had a 2014 with the Cummins. I mean, that was a great motor. It's newer, but that's a lot of money for a 21-year-old truck that all you're getting is the motor. I don't see it. Some people do. I don't see it, but that's besides the point. Now, something that somebody's mentioned to me is Cummins swapping it. Can you Cummins swap? Seems goofy, right? Can you Cummins swap a Dodge 2500 gas truck? Obviously, you can come and swap just about anything. It's less work than something that shouldn't have Cummins in it, but it's more work than what you'd probably think. I'll touch that real quick. If you're trying to find a gas truck that's cheaper, so you can just, if you have a Cummins, you want a gas truck with a nice body so you can get it for cheaper and swap it in, ideally find one with a V10. These trucks came with a V10. The V10s had the exact same transmission as the diesel. This is the same, but it's just not as beefed up. V10's transmission is beefed up, and this front suspension is different on these this 2500 versus what the Cummins, because the Cummins is obviously a lot heavier. Now obviously the wiring harness is going to be different and your typical stuff. I'm not a mechanic. I can work on my stuff, not a mechanic, so I'm not going to sit here and go super into it. But it's easier to put a Cummins in this than it is to put it in something that's never had it. It'll bolt straight up to the motor mounts. I mean, that's the part that makes it a lot easier. Yes, it is possible if you were wondering. So anyway, guys, the second gen Dodge, it's a nice truck. I was looking at a 1500, 2500s. If you want a diesel, not a diesel, there's a lot of options. They're nice trucks. They're older. You got to remember they're older. So you're not going to get, unless you get lucky, you're not going to get something super nice. It's not going to have the newest radio. It's not going to have what your newer trucks will have. So you have to know what you're buying for, but they're more inexpensive. You can put more money into them by not buying a $50,000 truck. You have more money to put into it. So they're nice trucks. You just got to find one that hasn't been beaten up, hasn't been thrashed, just destroyed. Get a clean one. Craigslist, some old guy has it that's been had forever. Find this deal of a deal. This I found on a dealership. I got lucky. I found it on a dealership just driving up and down the road. That just picked it up, sitting there for 2 days. Had it for a good price. I grabbed it. So to answer the question of the title, are second gen Dodges any good? They are. For the age, great trucks. You can only get them in the quad cabs, no four door. Well, you can't get them in a four door. You can only get quad cabs. The other one that the doors don't open in the back, and then single cabs, obviously. But they're good trucks. I like this. I've taken it off-roading. I've taken it on road trips. It's been a nice truck. It's been fairly reliable other than that first hiccup I had, and a couple more. But other than that, I can't really complain about it too much. So yes, second gen Dodges, they can be nice trucks. Just got to find the right one. Anyway, that's going to be it for the video today, guys. I appreciate you all tuning in. Appreciate you watching. Keep your eyes out for more videos. I have some more truck videos on my page and car videos at Mustang, Ford. So take a look if you have time. I appreciate it, and have a good one.